we're going to talk about relearning. And how many times do we need to relearn something? How many times do we need to relearn something? Have you ever thought of this concept? Like, this is a really great concept for us to put this little lens up to ourselves to be like, okay, how many times am I having to relearn something? So we'll talk about the application in a minute. First, I'm going to give you the concept. Yeah, I'm at my sister Heidi's house. Look at all her plants. I need something cute like this, huh? Isn't this one? She's a plant person. She's so good at it. Yeah, I busted my butt to get here this morning. Okay, I got here with like 4 minutes to spare. Drove through traffic at like 95 miles an hour. Okay, so that being said, sorry. So relearning. All right, so here's the example. Okay. So there was a time I was on the freeway. Actually, I was driving into Boise. So I live outside of Boise in Idaho. And I was driving into Boise on the freeway, and it's usually a 45-minute drive. And I got about 20 minutes in, and I looked down at my GPS, and my GPS says an hour and 40 minutes. And I was like, what? Like, that can't be right. There's no way on earth that it would take an hour and 40 minutes, especially from the point I was at, to get to my destination. And so I kind of looked at it and I thought about it. And then it gave me an alternate route, right, to get off on some random exit and go some way that I wasn't familiar with. And then I looked at it again and I was like, no, there's got to be a fluke. There's no way. Like, there's no way. And so I talked myself out of believing the GPS and I stayed on the freeway. And sure enough, there was a gigantic crash and I was on the freeway for an hour and 40 minutes. It was great. And there's a couple pieces to this. Number one, I will only do that once. When my GPS tells me now it's going to take me like X amount of time to get somewhere, and it says there's some sort of delay, I believe it. Okay, I believe it. I only need to learn that lesson once, right? So there's that. But the other thing is, sometimes we have to have that experience. We have to have that experiment to be like, is it true? Is it not true? Like, I'm just going to test it out, right? I'm just going to see, like, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? We all have to go through that. That's part of like the child in us where we have to test the bounds. We have to test the limits. We might be like, I'm not sure if this marketing method's going to work, but I'm going to give it a shot, right? I want to try it and see what I think. Or all signs point to no, but let me just see. Can the signs point to yes? Can I give this a shot? Can it work? That is perfectly perfect. That is perfectly perfect. We want to test those things out. You need to test them out, and then you need to be able to trust yourself and get to that point where you're not just believing somebody else's word, but then you're also experimenting on the word and trusting yourself. That's very important for you to build trust in you, okay? And believe your decision-making skills. Where we start to get flubbed up is where we repeat that pattern, where we don't learn the lesson of having the self-trust. And so we continue to flail. We continue to doubt. We doubt either our inner GPS or the things around us that are telling us, right? We start to have some doubt. And then we get confused. And then we have no anchor. And then we stay in this pattern of like, just like I was on the freeway, I'm going to look at it and be like, I'm not sure. Should I? Shouldn't I? I'm not sure. How much time are we spending in indecision?
Are you a real estate agent and you got in this business to help people, but yet you're trying everything and it's not working, and all you wanted to do was serve people? If you are a heart-centered realtor and you want to have a thriving real estate business, but you're not sure where to go, what to do, and you keep trying all the gadgets and shiny things in different ways, and all you're doing is spending a lot of money and spinning your wheels, then I've got the solution for you. It is the High Profit Agent Fix. Inside the High Profit Agent Fix, it is a complete business plan, start to finish and everything in between, the words you say, what you do to have clients flocking to you, staying with you, so you build a repeatable business full of referral clients and repeat clients. That's what everybody wants, so that you stop having to pay for advertising and you start serving, which is what you got in this business to do in the first place. If this sounds like you, then this is a solution. Go to highprofitagentfix.com and sign up today to get the solution to what you really want, which is to serve and to make money and to make the impact that you want and support your family and do it all from a loving, wonderful, exciting, happy place, because it gets to be joyful. It doesn't get to be frustrating. It actually gets to be joyful. If that's not what you're experiencing, step on up to High Profit Agent Fix, because that's what you get to experience with me in the High Profit Agent Fix.
And when we have maybe learned that lesson, what I want you to do is put the microscope up to yourself, and I want you to be like, have I learned this lesson before? Have I been down this road? Have I tried this? Have I experienced this before? Or is this new to me? If it's not new and you've done this more than once and you keep getting the same results, that's telling. Believe yourself. Believe the results. Believe the experiment. Believe the GPS, right? And the greatest GPS that you can also have is that self-trust. So as you experiment on these things and you start to grow your own confidence and trust in yourself that you can make good decisions, you can make the decisions that are best for you, regardless of what the outside world is telling you, regardless of what everybody else thinks that you should be doing, regardless of what your mom says that you might be good at, or your friends say you might be good at, or, not just what they think you should be good at, but also maybe their fears of what you won't be good at. There's that piece too. When I started real estate, my boss, who I was working for at the time, she tried everything to talk me out of it. Not because she didn't think I was capable, because she was fearful that it was a hard industry to be in, that I wouldn't make money. So she really tried hard to hand me her fears. She really tried to tell me, why would you give up this good job that you're really good at to go do this thing that's not secure, that you can't be sure that you're going to make money at? And if I were to take that as my GPS and be like, yeah, that's so true. It's a real good possibility I can't make money. And then let fear override my inner knowing, my inner GPS. If I let fear override that, I wouldn't be here today. I'd be making $12,000 a year doing medical billing for 30 hours a week, not living my best life. Right? So all things to consider. Are we, number one, experimenting? Because it is important to experiment. That's how we start to gain trust in ourselves. That's how we start to have some experiences, so that we know what we like, what we don't like, what we want, what we don't want. But where we need to make sure we get to next is that after we experiment, that we are coming to some conclusions, we are starting to gain that trust in ourselves. And then we're not repeating the same experiment over and over again because we're hoping to get a different result. We don't want to hope that things are going to turn out differently, so we're just going to keep trying again. If I was on that freeway in the same situation, looking at my GPS every single time, and it tells me there's going to be a delay, and it tells me to take a side road, and if every time I keep denying that I should take the side road, I'm always going to get stuck on the long freeway. I only had to do it once. And now I'm like, sure enough, GPS knows better than I do. Okay, I get it. Thank you for the lesson. Right? So gather your lessons, recognize them, be grateful for them. Be grateful for them. That's what they're there for. They're there to teach you, but only if you're listening, only if you're open to it. Then you learn what it is that you need to learn, and you make progress. This is how we reinvent faster. This is how we make faster progress in our lives, but we reinvent ourselves, and you start to gain that momentum every single day. And then your turnover is faster, where you're just more and more momentum because you become so good at this.
Hey, real estate agents, start your week with momentum. Momentum Monday is your free 30-minute power session to ignite your week, sharpen your focus, and elevate your results. Every Monday, you can join a community of high-performing agents who refuse to coast and choose to lead with intention. In just 30 minutes, you will set crystal clear intentions to dominate your week, and you'll learn high-energy strategies that create immediate wins for you. This is not another meeting, it's an intentional strategy session to refocus, recharge, and reignite your drive before the week runs away from you. Whether you're closing deals, generating new leads, or scaling your business, Momentum Monday gives you the clarity, confidence, and community to make it happen. Shake it up, do something new. Start your Monday with momentum. Click below to join for free and experience the results for yourself. I'll see you on the inside.